So guys, this is another day and we have new sets that's coming out for the third season. I'm going to tell you which gear is going to be very interesting for you focus on, okay? Because that's exactly what you have to think about if you'd like to be very competitive in terms of this season right here, okay? But don't think wrong about the other gears that we also have here, okay? I'm going to talk about all of them, but remember, there are gears that's going to be used for arena, there are gears that can be used for chiefs and so on, all right? But you have the meta, and I'm going to talk firstly about this new meta gear that I think that's going to be very interesting to have it to use in the account for the third season, okay? So I'm going to start over here between all these ones, okay? All these ones here. First of all, the first one is the Trailblazer. The Trailblazer, guys, just for you guys to have an idea here about this one, is exactly this one that you guys can see there on the screen, And the good point about this one here is, I'm going to show here, when dealing direct damage, permanently increase attack speed. Look at this. This sounds very positively. At the max stacks, further increase the weather damage dealt. Suitable for heroes focused on direct damage or with a high attack speed. So you have Downlands, you have Corrosion, well, so imagine that. Imagine even between the Shadows and some other elements. This can be promised, okay? So I believe that this one is going to be one of the that we have to focus on, okay? Between all these one here. But this last one here, guys, look at this. There is no mountain. Increases all allies attack for each buff they possess, effectively boosting the team overall damage output. Suitable for support heroes who provide buffs or tanks in the front row. This one here, I believe it's going to be a meta as well. And the third one here, I believe that's going to be the Gem Broker, okay? This one here, because this one here, look at this. Boost the corresponding status of allies with the highest attack, defense, and HP, highlighting their key strength, suitable for heroes who needs to stack enlightenment and frequently cast their ultimate skills. This one here, I believe that's going to be focused in terms of enlightenment stuff. And you guys know well that you have powerful enlightenment heroes in the game. Just remember that, okay? So between these legendary heroes, I'm focused on between these three, okay? As meta gear. And now I'm gonna talk about the meta gear for mythicals, because this is the one that many people would like to know. So the three ones that I selected right here between the mythicals ones, I'm going to start over with these two here. These two here, guys, even though you have the first one, that's the prohibition build, suitable for heroes of the smaller schools, that you guys can see. But these two here, gilded, I think it's gilded wish. This is very suitable for AoE damage dealers. We have heroes that does that. We have Sheena, we have many others. Asphalt that's coming out. You guys know well, There are many there that does damage, in area as AoE attack. Well, this is going to be very good. But for single target heroes, in terms of damage dealers, like a Beldel, this one here, guys, the Blood Moon Gaze, increase the weather's attack based on how many allies are on the battlefield. Suitable for damage dealers, okay? This is one, I believe that can be meta. And then I'm going to show another one here, Another one here that can also be interesting. I think that's going to be these Wormspin, I think. Look at this. Grants damage reduction based on the numbers of buffs on the weather. Reduces damage taken. However, if the weather is affected by any debuff, They will take increased damage, okay? Suitable for support heroes who provide multiple buffs or front row heroes. I understood that if you go to place a hero with this one here, you have to prepare well that hero with this gear in terms of resistance, I believe, you know. But I think that this can be interesting, in my opinion, okay? A part of the other two that I show right there, you know. So these are the three. I think that as meta gear for the third season can be very interesting. Now I'm going to talk about the other ones, okay? So in terms of the other ones, guys, so you have now here, you have the Sunfire Glow. What this does, converts a percentage of HP lost into max HP for 20 seconds, up to 30% of the weather max HP. When the cap is reached, further reduces the weather damage taken, suitable for heroes in the Aura school. So very specific for Aura. You know, have to see if this mechanic is gonna work with the other heroes for part of other elements as well, because you have the first one for summons, this one for Aura, alright? And then look at this is going to be for Arena. Casting skills has 100% chance to taunt the farthest enemy for 3 seconds. Another control gear. In terms of Arena, maybe this is going to be MVP, okay? Arena, alright? So imagine that. In terms of control, you already have the other ones in terms of control, but this one here is going, it sounds very interesting. Maybe it's going to be useful between chiefs as well. You know, depending of the scenario right there, you name it. Now the next one here, okay? We have a Crown Hunter. If the weather defense is higher than the targets when casting ultimate skill, inflicts the attack penalty. So this is another one. I believe that in Arena can be also very interesting, or even between Paymender or Guys know well. I cannot forget to talk about Paymender, because you guys know all the importance over there. But this one here can be very effectively in that case, okay? Look at this. Heroes in the front row with high defense effectively reducing the enemy's damage. Arena, guys, that happen a lot as well, you know. And the Gem Broker here. Oh, the Gem Broker I already talked about, right? So boost the corresponding allies with the highest. Okay, I already talked about this one. And then we have the last one here that I mentioned. Okay, these are the ones that's coming out in terms of the legendary. Then the prohibition field there I mentioned already, you know. And then we have these two here for part of mythicals. We have the break bonds. Attack enemies of a different element increases damage. I think that in the beginning there, in some stage of the arena can be useful, but Paymender for sure this is going to be useful, okay? And then you have the Dragonheir here. Reduces the weather susceptibility to ultimate down, ensuring they cast ultimate skill smoothly. I believe that this can be also one of the metas, but I'm not sure how it's going to work properly, but it sounds interesting here on this way. However, this effect diminish when the weather is affected by any debuff, so you need to be careful, because if you go to use this, I think that they want to you build the hero with this with resistance. The same thing apply here between this one. The same thing applies to the next one here. That's the Aegis one. That's this the winter spin. I think it's the same thing. Okay, both of them I think that can be also meta here, but resistance is the key in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think. This is exactly the new gears that's coming out for the third season, you know. Just remember what the Kizat has to focus on, mainly in terms of the legendary ones that boost your teams, because that's going to matter a lot. All right, anyway, just like the video if you like the video, guys. Leave your message, subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Bye bye.
Hark! Do you hear it? The anguished wails from the Dragon Queen's retribution. They call us the Silent Gods, but we have been exiled beyond the world to where none can hear us speak. How glorious, how serendipitous! All because you have come into contact with his. This should have been our land!
Captivating suit. I fight to defend my soul. One day, I shall depart the unyielding silk and be free of all this.
Now, he has awakened and stands before you.
Shadows
Entangled.
The choice comes with a price.
Don't see me as one of those outlaws.
Follow my lead. Everything belongs to me!
We shall await. We shall observe. How will you transform this world?